how would you actually suggest for other universities, for example, that don't have their whole curriculum online, what could they start doing to support their staff, but also their audience, taking into account already that the audience itself has expectations that have changed, and the professors need to change their role to become facilitators rather than actual teachers who are having descendant information.
Have programs and teachers in that situation that you just described. What we did within our institution, for instance, was that because we have the experience and we have been doing this for, gosh, I mean, over 10 years, we've offered this mode, this version of the program. What we did, for instance, we offered, first of all, a helpline to other teachers, to other programs, other colleges within our University of Applied Sciences, simply to share, to you know, they could ask any questions. And I mean, it could be also technical. You know, we said, yeah, fine, yeah. I mean, they could ask, like, you know, where's that share screen button in Zoom? Yeah, fine, we can answer that too, because we've been using it all the time. But of course, our main aim was, you know, address how to adapt, how to change your teaching pedagogically so that it becomes more meaningful online. And really, I think the biggest thing, at least for me, and I think for anyone, is that you simply have to, you know, and I know many pedagogues say this, you just have to let go. You can't be that all-knowing talking head anymore, because it's, or, well, yes, you can, but if you make your students sit in front of their computer for 6 to 8 hours a day, listening to me speaking like I do now, and if this would continue for 8 hours, well, that's just crazy. You will have a terrible student experience. You are creating a horrible student experience. So that's something you simply have to let go. Of course, you don't, and you sometimes you can't simply jump into a 100% facilitator tutor role if you've been a lecturing professor for 30 years. I mean, it doesn't go like that. But at least you can start with livening up those online lectures of yours with other material, you know, having maybe bringing in interviews and things like that, bringing in videos as well. I have a great experience now also about co-teaching, for instance, because even that immediately becomes a bit more lively. Yes, you have to know the other person. Yes, you have to be, you know, ready to do things like that. But that's one way. So co-teaching, bringing in other people, bringing in other speakers, using videos. Those are the kind of like easy, if you like, first steps. But then what we have done, and what I definitely believe in, and that's of course the foundation of our pedagogy anyway, is that the learners, and they would do in a traditional classical lecture room settings. So the term to use, and therefore the pedagogy to try out, is flipped classroom. And flipped classroom is really, that I would say that's something one should start exploring. Okay, how can I do a flipped classroom in my lecture? And how do I transform that? And then, you know, ask for guidance. I mean, if you Google flipped classroom, you will find a huge amount of resources and ideas for any field. It can be adapted in engineering, wherever, you know, in whatever. I don't have to list those academic fields where you can adapt a flipped classroom. So I would definitely say that's one thing to start exploring, because that brings you immediately that interaction. I mean, flipped classroom and well, let's say flipped classroom combined with collaborative learning, and you can say cooperative learning if you like. They're sometimes mutually exchangeable. Slight variation maybe in the terms. So make students work collaboratively in preparation to the meetings and use the flipped classroom methodology. And that way you are creating an entirely different student experience, and a student experience that I know will be a lot more meaningful for the students.